So I climbed a stairwell. I actually had to bypass this one because, as you can see, parts of it are broken off. This is all square set stoping. It actually came from way down there. I'm on this very sturdy ladder right here. And this is the whole apparatus. It's not a huge room, but this is where all the stope work was done, extracting what looks like talc. And there's actually even an upper level up there. A lot of work in such a tightly cramped space. But that's what you had to do for very unstable rock. You can see how there's just all these cracks. A couple of hibernating moss. But as you can see, it's held up over all the decades. The wood is still in pretty good shape, very sturdy. And then just scoop it down a couple of steps. This is the level below. And my pack is down there, and then there's directly below this level here, there is an ore chute, and then the ore cart tracks. As I turn the light off, you can see that there is daylight, probably an upper ventilation opening. So that's where I was, directly above. I had to descend over this way, just because the slats were all broken. It says 2. There was a bat in here that was flying earlier. And I just take this little stairwell, and directly below me is the ore chute. Okay, there's the last look back at the stope. Ascended the lower ladder here. Feel a draft of air. It looks like the mine kept going, but there's some significant collapse. You can see where there's some weak beams from all the ceiling rocks that came crashing down. I just squeeze underneath the ore chute right here. These are always cool to stumble upon in mines. There's the ore cart tracks. And here we are coming out from below the ore chute. It says 310, and then all those little dots there usually signify how many loads were transported on the ore cart. Now the rock here is all marble. Where the diggings occurred, that was where the talc vein was. So they basically call this a drift. It's just digging through the waste rock, which is typically what ends up being the tailings on the outside. This was kind of a weakened area. There's some more graffiti. As you can see, part of the ceiling has collapsed. And the miners realized that this was a weak zone, which is why they reinforced some beams. Something with an 8. That must be the bat that was flying. Looks healthy. I don't see any white nose syndrome. It says 13 and 50 right there. There's another weak spot. Sure feels good being in here, because outside it's hot desert. The temperature's just right. When I shut my light off, you can see daylight. So this is the part of the upper adit. I'll scoot down eventually, get to the lower adit. Huh. Some sort of unusual mineralization. Oh, there we go, there's daylight. Now the ore cart tracks seem to end right here. It looks like afterwards somebody was here and removed some of the metal. So this is from the lower adit. I am actually standing inside the old structure here. It's really cool because a lot of stuff is just left as it was. Some old shelves. Got this old radio, Silvertone. Oops. This looks like a more recent paper. It's like a record player. Well, must have been writing at one time. Actually writing on the in here. It's hard to tell what that says. Oh, that must be a fake door. Sort of measuring. The old fridge. A lot of old miscellaneous parts. The chairs. One has a hole in it, probably from rodents. This one still looks intact. Still a good usable stool. Color flame. Oh, that's part of the old eraser here. Looks like it has old phone numbers on it. Pure ground black pepper. Still stuff in it. then okay, we are in the lower adit. Nicely made door here. Again, like the upper one, the ore cart tracks seem to have been removed. So that way it looks like there may be a collapse. Actually, I don't think it even went that much further anyway. Alright, so about 200 feet in or so, this here is an example of a major collapse. The wood beams just could not support the weight and it collapsed with all the rocks. That way there's a lot of broken down material. I don't think it goes much further. This way apparently had some more tunnel to it, but it is completely choked all the way to the ceiling. So that's pretty much the end of the lower adit.